Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm really excited about our special guest today. My name is Selena. I'm director of operations for Glass Factory. And yeah, it's just really cool to have you guys here today. It was neat. It was neat to like see you guys. I believe it was on Monday. I was streaming here on Monday, so it wasn't so long. It felt like a lot longer. But yeah, before I just yap away though, I want to bring our next special guest on. But I'm gonna read their bio for you and tell you a little bit about her. But yeah, so we're gonna be chatting with Tessa Violet today. They're a singer-songwriter based in Los Angeles right now, and they've always had a deep desire to create authentic connections with people. YouTube was the first platform which allowed her to foster those connections as she grew up. The platform evolved and it became a place for many budding musicians to flock. After moving to LA, Tessa released her debut album, Bad Ideas, in fall 2019, rounding out a breakout year for the rising artist. The sole songwriter on all but one of her debut album tracks, the project received Spotify's New Music Friday Times Square Billboard, and the hit single Crush amassed 200 million aggregate streams alone. Thanks, Robin. Yeah. I really like how it turned out. Over the last 3 years, Tessa Violet has released multiple standout singles, Yes Mom, Breakdown, and The Kitchen Song, and most recently, My Body's My Buddy, featuring Bry, as well as creating several of her own trends on TikTok, giving her the ability to test and create demand for new music before the release. On the heels of her sold-out Rise of the Phoenix tour, 2023 saw Tessa's release her sophomore album, My God, the perfect collection of a summery pop and effortlessly heartfelt ballad to highlight her evolution as an artist and bring her breathtaking live tour around the US and Europe. Tessa continues to grow her fan base with her unique approach to engaging with fans on TikTok and celebrating her wins with the world. But yeah, and then before I actually officially bring her on here, I'm going to give her a shout out. So if you're not following Tessa on Twitch, you guys should definitely change that right now. What are you doing here? Yeah, let me do that really quick. Here we go. And then Tessa, I'm gonna bring you on. Hey, let me unmute you. I almost forgot. Oh,
Hello.
there. Hey, hello. You are unmuted. Everybody can hear
Hi,
you. Hello.
everybody. I'm here. I'm here. Well, that's quite the bio. I'm like, damn, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, you are. You have an impressive bio. I think it's really cool, and I feel very proud of myself for reading it aloud. I'm getting better at doing that.
Yes, well done. You did an amazing job. You
Thank you.
slayed it.
Yeah, thank you. Um, I wanted to like kind of kick off with a pretty basic question though. Can you give me your origin story? You can take that however you please, whether it's like personal origin story, music origin story, however you feel.
Mm, yeah, I'm like, what is my origin story? It's so funny. I was just talking to someone the other week that said, yeah, I've actually met you before. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And I said, I held you as a baby.
Oh?
And I was reflecting on that today, and I'm like, yeah, was that me? You know? Because I'm like, was that me? Is that my origin? I mean, I suppose so. I was talking to my husband about it this morning, and he's like, yeah, I mean, it's the same like DNA code. I'm like, it is the same DNA code, but it is entirely new cells. None of that part of me is still alive. Now, who am I? What am I? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
There's kind of like that
But
disassociation from the childhood aspect thing of things is what you're kind of referring to.
well, like,
Like not knowing, not remembering, and then feeling that disconnect even.
well, I mean, just like, what do I even mean? I guess I mean like I'm also thinking about, my nephew who,
Mm,
I've held him as a baby. Oh my gosh, I'm like, well, Miles, I've known you
yeah.
your whole life. But Miles, maybe I shouldn't have named Miles. Sorry. My nephew. um, and all people, all people, all children, we're always kind of like blossoming into somebody new. So if somebody knew me years ago,
Oh,
is
that's a
that
good
who
point.
I am now? I don't know. It's a part of me for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Um, So that's sort of what I'm reflecting on. Therefore, what
Mm,
is the origin story of the present day Tessa? I'll say this right now. I'm all about, I've been a songwriter for years, a singer for years. I'm like 13 years into my music journey. But what I'm all about right now is this concept that, I believe that songs are like, spells. They can change how you
mm,
feel. It's powerful. And right now, what I want to be writing is songs that make people feel like empowered and hopeful. And because that's how I want to feel. That's how I long to feel now. So that's what I'm very interested in. My new record that isn't out yet, but that I'm writing is all about my own mental health and spiritual development over the last few years.
that's cool. Yeah, and I think that that's really
Yeah.
special that you want to create an empowering message to people, especially like I don't know. I could say many angles with this, like the times today, women, women
Mm. Yeah.
identifying people, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. For
yeah,
sure.
I think it could be a very interesting time to be talking about those things and being empowered nonetheless, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's your origin story? What does
My
that mean to
origin
you?
story? Yeah. I've actually not thought about this, but hmm. That's interesting. I haven't thought about it. I don't know. I've always been a creative person, always wanted to be,
Hmm.
and I am today.
Hmm.
Yeah. Life's short, do
Slayed.
everything.
Iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so when did you start getting into music then? You said like as a young age,
uh,
but would you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
yeah. So I started writing songs when I was 23. My mic is a little quiet. Oh, thank you so much for telling me that. I might just have to. I actually don't know. Let me see if I can. Sorry, let me see if I can adjust that real quick. Um, Advanced properties. Oh, I see what's happened here. Thank you. Thank you so much, whoever told me that in the chat. That's great. Ta-da! Okay, it should be a little bit louder now. Ooh, the shared chat thing just came on. Okay,
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I realized it
Taylor,
didn't
let me
turn
know
on
if
the way
that
on.
mic sound is better.
Uh-uh.
Um,
Everybody want to check in and
so
make
yeah,
sure
sorry.
yeah, Tessa sounds good on my end too. You can do that too. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. So I think I started writing songs when I was 23. Before that, I was like very into music videos. So I was into music in that way. I loved the visual like creation of something alongside music. It just had never occurred to me that like I could write a song until I met other people who were writing songs.
Hmm.
And I was like, you can just write a song. I thought that the ability to write songs was like literally like being magic, a magician, or a wizard, that you could pull something from nothing, from the air. And to be honest with you, now that I do it, I'd say, yeah, dude, it's totally magic.
Hmm.
But I just don't think it is limited to only some people. I'm like, no, anyone can write a song. Not anyone will write a hit song, but anyone can write a song.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, yeah, it is like pulling magic, doing anything creative, let alone I've heard writing music. It is like pulling magic out of thin air, but at the same time, it is a skill and it can be refined, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
can be practiced.
Yeah, and I mean, especially talking about your like your newer music, how would you say that that identifies with you and like what you're making right now, and what are some messages that you're focusing on right now?
Mm,
I know we talked a little bit about it, but kind of expanding a little bit.
yeah, I'm thinking about it. Give me one moment.
Yeah, no problem, no rush.
Uh, one of the things one of my intentions for this year is to slow down.
Mm,
Um, I think there's like an identity in being very smart and being very fast, but it often, puts me in my head in a mental space.
mm,
and I sometimes feel tortured by my own mental space.
Mm.
So I'm trying to get into my body, and for me, the idea of being in my body means slowing down. Not needing to have an answer instantly. Like yeah, think about it, consider it. Um, so let me consider, what is my messaging now? I mean, all the songs I'm writing are songs that I wrote because they're things that I need to hear or consider.
Mm.
So it is a lot of songs about I guess my former self, I used to be pessimist for
Mm.
sure. And I have the perspective now that I used pessimism as like armor against like feeling
Yeah.
disappointed, or feeling like caught, or feeling sad, or whatever. Um, and I used to think that like being hopeful, was like setting yourself up for disappointment. But now I feel that you actually lose nothing if you choose to like have hope along the process.
Mm.
Um, it's like, what is hope? What is trust? What do all these words mean? Okay, let me put it this way. Now, when I find myself in a position where I'm wanting something to go a certain way, I go into it just instead of telling myself, "Oh, it's not going to work out," whatever this like negative narrative within my head, which first of all does not save me any grief. I'm like tortured by it as I'm in the process, and then if it doesn't work out, I'm still disappointed, and if it does work out, I'm like a little bit suspicious of it. I
Yeah.
can't even like fully experience the like joy of it working out, because I've so tempered my emotion. When you try and numb the bad stuff, you also numb the good stuff. Good and bad, I'm putting
Hmm.
quotations around this. Dude, I totally lost my train of thought there. I don't know.
No,
What
I
was I
think you made a
talking
great
about?
point. I think you made a lot of really great points. And
Great.
firstly, like going from being a pessimist to an optimist, just speaking from experience there, not easy work, not easy mind
Mm,
work at all. I'd still even consider myself a
mm.
recovering pessimist because of what you mentioned with like the numbing of the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like very, very relatable,
Yeah.
very, very relatable indeed. So,
Yes, and sorry, what you said made me remember what my point was, which is that imagine you're going into a situation. Imagine me. I'll speak in first person. I won't, proselytize. I am going into a situation where I want things to go one way, but they could go anyway. I cannot know what is going to happen. So if I tell myself like, "Oh, it's not going to go good," I can't know that. If I tell myself it is going to go good, I can't know that. So instead, I can just choose to trust that whatever is going to be is going to be.
mm,
I don't have to worry about it. I just
yeah.
need to do my best and like move with grace and move with gentleness. And as far as the anxiety goes, I can just trust, whatever's going to be is going to be. And as I've been like practicing this new way of experiencing life, I find that even when things don't work out how I would have them, I just saved myself all this anguish. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, it didn't go how I wanted it to go, but I didn't spend all that time torturing myself leading up to it.
Yeah, true. And then you never know that there's like something better for you in the future too, right?
Yeah, totally. Yes, the
Yeah, there could
story's not
always
over
be
yet.
something. There could always be something more, and it could always mean that that opportunity wasn't big enough for who you could become and who you will grow into from taking that
Yeah.
rejection or whatever that opportunity was. And
Yeah, totally.
yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot that we can unpack right there, but I did want to kind of just continue and ask a little bit more about like who inspired you as a musician and maybe like who is your biggest muse in your craft lately.
Mm. Right now, I really love my producer Bree,
Mm.
who is the other artist on My Body's My Buddy, my newest song. I learned so much from Bree. I love getting to be her friend. I love getting to learn from her. I also love the artist Olivia Barton.
Mm, yeah.
Fantastic songwriter. Do you know Olivia?
I don't know Olivia, but I know of Olivia. Yes.
Yes, I love her album. This is a good sign. And I
Mm.
also really the other thing I've been listening to the most is Lizzie McAlpine's album, Older, which lyrically is a completely different energy, but I'm enjoying the like sonic nature of that one.
Yeah. I always like it. Well, I'm not exactly sure which part of the project you're referencing to, because I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've listened to Olivia. Um, but it made me
Yeah, all
think.
good.
It made me think though, like there are those songs that have a contrasting sonic element to what their melody is, or no, the melody and instrumentals contrasting the lyrics, like happy sounding song, very
Yeah,
sad sounding lyrics.
totally.
So yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like that could work out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Olivia. I'm gonna have to listen to Olivia again. It's actually been a lot longer than I would like to admit. But I'll listen to Olivia again.
Ooh,
What
you're
who
in
would you
for a
recommend?
treat.
What would you recommend? What song? I'm gonna save it so I don't forget.
Um, yeah, let me pull it up. I mean, if I were to recommend only one song, I wouldn't even actually pick one on the record, though I love that record.
Hmm.
Um, Let me see. Big Sad, I think, is the one that I'm like, if you're only gonna listen to one song, listen to this one.
Oh, that's where Olivia Barton sounds familiar. It's from Karooks collab with them. Yeah,
Yeah,
if I
yeah,
were a fish, that one. That one's the one I knew. What
yeah,
else do I know? That one's the big one though that I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't recommend Olivia enough. That record was my top listened to record last year.
Oh,
This is a
cool.
good sign.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you only do one song, do Big Sad.
Big sad. Okay, I'm gonna save that one. It's like I know of Olivia Barton. Where am I forgetting? Okay, it's added to my liked. I'm gonna listen right after the stream, that's for sure.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed, but on my stream, I have the birds playing in the background. I am actually pulling from Tessa's streams, and I thought it was really cool that you did that in your own stream. So I'm just trying it out myself and seeing how it fits. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love how you do
Yeah.
that. I think it's really unique. But I don't know. It just like
Thank
gave me a
you.
really cool vibe and showed me a little bit about like that calming presence that you have, and it's really like kind of a meditative state that I felt
Thanks.
like I could be in and fall into really easily when I was hopping in on your stream. So yeah, very soothing vibe. I agree,
That's
Robin.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. So what brought you to the decision of trying out something more unique, other than maybe like I don't like copyright. Copyright's annoying. I'm gonna do something different. Is there any other purpose behind it?
Um, yeah, I want like I'm so proud of this one. Sometimes you like almost everything is a I mean, perhaps nothing comes from nothing. It's all a like I think creative people, and I think all people are creative, but people who like identify as creative are, more attuned to it. It's like the ideas are out there in the universe, and you
Mm-hmm.
are just being like a beacon or a channel to bring them into this reality.
Right.
And the ideas funnel through your life experience, through every like creative thing you've ever watched or seen, and they come like through you, so they
Mm-hmm.
are they are like changed by you to come into this realm, and I like that. But the idea of oh no, I like sometimes you have things you're like, "Ooh, I really did one with that one." I kind of feel that way about the birds, but I am remembering actually where I got the idea from. My friend Jesse Kale, who does sound baths in Columbus, Ohio, had told
Ooh.
me that he was sometimes doing the sound of birds in the background of his sound bath, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do that in the background of my stream."
That's cool. Yeah, that's really fitting too with the
Yeah.
sound baths. I don't know if I've done one officially, but have you heard of Janae Aiko?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they're a R&B artist. They did a sound bath at the end of one of their live shows, and it was so cool. Really, really good way to like
Ooh,
end
nice.
an experience, especially because like when you were done with a performance or done watching a show that you really like, you kind of get that post concert
Yeah.
depression. You get that post show hole.
Yeah.
I felt like that
Yeah.
reset the mind and kind of kept me personally, at least, from experiencing that. You know what I mean? So kind of
Yeah.
interesting that, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but I was going somewhere.
That's super cool. Do you love
Yeah.
live music? Do you see a lot of
Oh
shows?
yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, it's a big part of it is
Awesome.
what I do here. So, it's a big part of what I do.
Hell yeah.
Love, 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 love music, live music. Is there anybody that you've seen recently or anybody that you want to talk about that you like had that really stood out to you?
Recently, like to be honest, I'm like, what was the last live show I went
No
to? I don't
problem.
even know. I've really been in my I've been in my creative cocoon. I go through like this pendulum swing between
Mm,
like really being very out there, like taking a lot of things in and like posting a lot of social media and then being like I do not exist and all I'm doing is like writing and listening to music and driving around in my car.
nice. Yeah, I think that that's what a lot of musicians do, honestly, especially like post tour or post album or post like
Yeah.
heavy promotion, being super busy, gotta fit all these
hmm
schedules, so on, so on. But yeah, okay, so not recently, somebody that stood out to you.
Whose show I saw live, like I'm like I don't even
Oh, no
literally I
problem.
couldn't tell you. It feels like it's been so long since I saw anyone live. I'm like, what was the last live show I went to? I can't even remember.
Yeah,
Um, but just artists that have really stood out to me lately. I'd definitely
yeah,
say Brie and Olivia Barton are like I'm super fan.
yeah. That's really neat. They're both singer-songwriters as well, generally, with
Yeah.
some like pop
Yeah.
pop elements. Yeah, that's cool. And that
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not too pop. It is
mhm.
more like Olivia Barton is definitely like leaning folk. Brie is folk with like just a little bit of like fingertips and pop.
Mm, I like that. I've been seeing that a lot more recently, and I've been loving that as somebody that like, really liked folk music growing up. So yeah,
hmm
I love a good genre mashup.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Cool. See, I'm losing track of where I was going. These
Stop being.
birds, it's those
There's no
birds, they're
rush.
calming me.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did you fall into the streaming space? When did you start stream and why?
The first time I ever streamed was probably like 2009 on a website called Blog TV.
Wow.
So yeah, forever ago, different
Mm,
lifetime, different like such a different era of the internet.
mm,
And then I just come back around to it every few years. And then I will not do it again for years, and then I'm back, and I'm back in this year, baby. I didn't like
nice.
stream at all the last 3 years.
Well, it's good to have you back. It's been cool to hop in on
How
your
about you?
streams.
Yeah, thank
Hop in
you.
on
How
your
about you?
streams. Yeah.
Stop. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's been really cool to hop in on your streams. And for me, I started streaming I think pretty much what everybody else did, right around 2020, 2021. But I didn't really
Mm,
like
yeah.
know what I was doing, I'd say, until late last year. And then I think that that's when it was like really starting to click
Yeah.
for me, especially with like these interviews. And then I have my own separate, I separated my personal stuff from it. So I like do crafting and chainmail making and
Mm,
writing a book, stuff like that. Very cozy,
yeah.
very laid back, very different, but not too different
Oh
from
my
like the
gosh.
vibes. But
Chainmail making is
yeah,
very cool.
yeah, it's one of those like,
Ooh, you're inspiring me. I'm
what?
like, do I want to start knitting again?
You
Maybe I
should. You
do.
should. You should knit
You're
again.
inspiring me. I'm like, do I want to start knitting again?
Because like there's something
Yeah.
about doing something menial and repetitive. It's just that's a meditative state. That's for sure.
hmm
Um, I I think without a
Yeah,
doubt.
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if you are questioning to get back into knitting or crocheting or any craft that like may suit what I just described, do it. Do
Yeah,
it. It's so
I'm
nice.
in.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah, I'm like, I'm literally gonna do it after this.
yeah, let me know what you end up creating because I would like to see. I like seeing what people make.
I have a bonnet that I have abandoned. I was very into knitting like a year ago. I made like 3 bonnets in a row, and
Hmm.
then I was on my fourth one and I lost interest. So I can go back to that.
Yeah, yeah, that yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd like to see it. That'd be really neat. Yeah, so like I started streaming a little while ago. Now here we are. But yeah, it's really cool to see that like you're coming back into the streaming space. How are you liking it every time that you do come back? Because do you feel like it changes a lot, or like it's coming back home?
Uh, Yeah, unfortunately, I have never, or whatever. Not fortunately, not unfortunately. Streaming for me is not. I don't know. It's just kind of something fun to do that I like connect with like super fans with. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've never figured out how to make streaming be a way to like make new fans.
Mm.
And I am kind of okay with that. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I can make new fans other ways. So it's just like it's familiar and cozy. My stream is just cozy. It's low key. I'm never like trying to make it a huge deal, though it is that is fun. You know, it's not a judgment on it. It's just like not my special interest.
Yeah, yeah, that's no problem at all. And also, like, everybody always has a different answer to that kind of a question, you know? So it's more
Yeah.
of me being curious and figuring out a little bit about who you are and everything. Um, but yeah,
Great. Yeah.
I don't know. I do like that though, that you can like connect with your super fans in a really it's intimate without being like without the commitment, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Yes. It
Yeah.
is intimate. I mean, I feel like it is the most me that I am on the internet, you know, because no there's not like a performance element to it for me, especially when you stream a lot. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I'm in a streaming phase right now, sometimes I'll stream for 8 hours. Like maybe
Nice.
there's a performance at the beginning, but by the time you get 8 hours in, you're like, I don't care, whatever, guys. This is how I am. Here's my home. I am just going to like, eat on camera, whatever.
Nice. Yeah, at one point it goes from all right, I want to well, for me at least, I don't know. I want to set a specific
Yeah.
I have a specific thing, a specific goal in mind, and then you're like, maybe I'll stream a little bit longer. And then after that, it's like, whatever. It's whatever. I'm still
Yeah.
live. I'm having a good time, but also there's like that like adrenaline that kicks in. It's like I got to eat. I got to eat.
Yeah, Kayla's saying dishwashing stream. So yeah, sometimes
Dishwashing
I'll just
stream.
wash dishes on stream, and because there's like so few people in the chat, sometimes it really depends on the day. I can do voice to text, so people
Mm.
can chat, and then I can hear what they're saying.
Oh,
So it's like
cool.
it has kind of like a FaceTime feeling to it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cute.
I like that. That's really cute. So you guys like do your chores together and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes for
Yeah,
stream.
that's fun. Oh my gosh, I feel like I would get a lot done. Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, you should try
I
it.
should
Yeah,
try it.
Trina's mentioning the laundry stream. Yeah, laundry stream. It's a good one.
Laundry stream. Do you guys like listen to music or just chat or do laundry? What do you guys typically do? You just
Mostly I'll just chat. Sometimes I put on a podcast.
nice. What kind of podcast are you listening to right now?
Yeah. My two favorites are A Little Bit Fruity,
Mm,
um, with Matt Bernstein,
okay.
which like he talks about like the intersection of politics and pop culture.
Oh, interesting.
And a lot lately about like why is politics going the way that it is going, and how is pop culture influencing that?
Mm,
How are the right wing billionaires funding content that encourages people to go to the right? Very fascinating. And then I
interesting.
also like listening to The Financial Diet, which is a YouTube channel about um how to like I want to say be financially aware and empowered in your finances.
That's
It's like,
cool.
yeah, look, we don't get to pick our circumstances, but and we may not always like our like options, but we do always have options, and we do always have choices we can make. We may not like them, but we do. So
Yeah,
I like that. I'm trying one of my special interests right now is saving for retirement. So
that's amazing. What are you
yeah,
planning on
as an
doing?
artist, it's like
Yeah, go ahead.
in my retirement,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just hoping to have enough money to be able to retire
right.
someday.
Yeah.
That's my dream right now. To have enough money to be able to retire someday. So,
Yeah.
and as an artist, it's like and an independent person, my whole adult life, I've really just poured, almost all my money just back into my career, which
Mm,
is an investment. I always tell myself, oh, I'm investing in myself, which I am, and it has paid off. And also, like, not all of it has paid off. So I'm just trying to be like wiser with money.
mm. Yeah, it's a good general thing to have, like not just savings, but be able to save for the future, whatever happens.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Um, well, so like how have you combined streaming with your music? I know that you connect with your super fans, but you also play music, correct? Yeah. Tell me a little bit about like
Yeah.
what that
You
experience is.
when
Sorry, I think our connection is
when I started in
struggling.
February, I was very like, oh, sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm Ethernetted in, but I think
Oh,
my computer is just like there's too many programs
oh
running at the
no.
same time. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. I felt like we were a little desynced there.
No, no, that's no problem at all. Yeah. Um, Oh yeah, okay. So in February when I started streaming, I was doing a lot of like just singing my songs, taking requests, and to be honest, as I've continued to stream, I've just devolved into further and further like more casual like energy. Like I'll say I will sing, I don't know, Trina, what do you think? I feel like I sing songs maybe 1 out of every 10 hours or
Hmm.
maybe 1 out of every 8 hours. What do you think? We'll
Oh,
see.
that's fun.
E because I mean, because I only have so many songs, so, like, I kind of need a break from singing the same things.
You never sing
Kayla says
anymore.
you never sing anymore, it's a little silly. Okay, Kayla, I was singing this morning, literally, I was singing right before this stream, okay?
Hmm. Well, I think that that's
But yeah,
cool
I
though.
do a lot of just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool to be able to just hang out on stream.
It's
I don't think that people realize how much of that is a thing and like how many friends you can make doing just that.
Oh my god, literally, I don't know if this is your experience being online, but what I love about live streaming more than any other, like, if someone was like, "How do you want to" if someone's like, "I wanna make fans, what should I do?" To be honest, I would not say live streaming as a thing. I'd be like, "Yeah, the reach in live streaming, it's not good." I'm like, "But if you want to get to know your fans, nothing beats live streaming." My experience to, my fans went from, it feeling like numbers and faceless comments to being like, now people talk about what is it called, a pseudo relationship that you
Mhm.
have with like the people you are a fan of. I have that with my fans.
Nice.
Like I know them by name, I know where they live, I know what they're into, I know what they're studying at college. And it's like, I'm like, at what point do we actually just know each other? I'm not sure. There is a separation. Obviously there are things that are personal, but
Right.
I really cannot recommend live streaming enough to like kind of demystify your fan base in a way that feels like really like empowering and really sweet and very tender. I feel like when I was younger, before I started live streaming, I felt like kind of sometimes yeah, no, actually, to be frank, scared of my fans,
Mm.
because I didn't know them, so it felt like there was so much pressure in every interaction that I would have with somebody that I feel like, "Oh, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. I hope
Mhm.
that, sometimes I'm awkward, sometimes I'm tired, sometimes I'm this or that." So everything felt like very high stakes in a way that there was like a lot of anxiety around the idea of this relationship. Parasocial, thank you so much, Zero FFS. Um, but now I just feel like, nah, they're cool. We're
Yeah.
good.
Do you feel like that helps you be able to like market your work though too? Because you understand the super fan mentality and you understand who those people are. Do you think that that helps you understand maybe
Mm,
what people want to see from you?
I don't know because I'm not sure if my super fans actually are a good representation of like the
Mm.
wider fan base. I don't know. What do y'all think? I mean, I see some of y'all in the chat today. What's your experience? And the other thing too is that like marketing, barf,
Yeah.
which whatever we have to do, we have to do
You
it. Just
have to.
accept it.
Hmm.
Everybody who's watching this and thinking like, I don't want to. Like, people can't be a fan of what they don't know doesn't exist. But like going viral on TikTok, which is a great way for people to become aware of your songs, is just like such a different muscle than live streaming, I think, for
Mm.
me anyway. So I'm not sure if that does help me. But it helps me feel empowered as an artist because like when you're on the internet, even if you're going viral, even if you're getting a lot of streams, which is god, oh my god, so fucking fantastic. I'm so grateful for my success. I wish I could have it all the time. No, I don't. It's fun to have the ebb and flow, uh but if it is like it's great. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm not saying it isn't great. But it is not deeply rewarding and fulfilling like it is to play live, like
Mm,
it is to hear from real people. I mean, they are real people on the internet, but again, it's that nameless feeling of comments versus having, a relationship
right.
with people. That is extremely rewarding. So I really recommend it for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I only think about it in the marketing perspective because most people who are trying to break into the scene are thinking about the marketing side because they feel like they have to too, right? So thought I'd like
Hmm.
pick your brain and see what you thought too, because like I don't know, everybody has a different answer to that kind of question too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's tailored to everybody's experience and like kind of who they are, what they are representing, um, and generally how interested they are in marketing and so on, so on. You know. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
I saw, sorry, Sabrici in the chat said, I was already a fan for years before finding you on here, but getting to know you here has been crazy. Lol. Okay, Sabrici, that's so much fun. I love to hear that. Within myself on Twitch, I refer to my fans between the new guard and the old guard. It's like we have the old guard, which is the people who were watching me stream in like 2020.
mm,
That's the Kaylas, that's the LDs, that's the whatever. And then there's the new guard, which is like all the people that have showed up in this like new era. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know, that's really fun. And then I have the OGs who are people who are like commenting on my YouTube videos and like, oh shit, I gotta turn that feature off on my computer. It honestly takes up so much bandwidth. um
what was that?
and there's like the OG fans from all the way back in YouTube. It's an Apple function where like if you do two thumbs up, it does fireworks. There's a bunch of
That's
different
fun.
animations. They are cute, but like it is not helpful while I'm streaming. Anyway, I totally lost my
Anyways,
train of thought there, but
yeah. You were talking
love all
about
my fans. I love you. I really do.
yeah.
Yes.
You were talking about super fans connecting with super fans, getting to know them and actually getting to know them has been crazy, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy and
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not something that I feel you could really do without something like live streaming because it does have that
Yeah,
intimate nature without like the obligation to, I don't know, like meet in person. There's less pressure there, you know?
totally. Yeah. And you get and because in the chat right now, people are talking. So I'm getting to know people too. It's not
Right.
just a one-sided the way that like a TikTok is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy too because these 2020 streams introduced me to Elodie and that whole group, and they're some of my best friends now. That's amazing. I love hearing that.
Super sweet.
Yeah, I've met some really good people on Twitch. I
Yeah,
love
there's a
Twitch.
group from 2020. Go ahead.
Go ahead. That was all I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's
say.
great. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say there's a group from the old guard that are friends now. They do meetups and they call it Umfchella. And Trina says I was a lurk into the newest era guard. Trina, I didn't know that. Oh my god. Stop. Trina helps with my streams. Trina is a streamer herself. So Trina has taught me so much about live
Ooh,
streaming.
I'll have to check you out. Here, let me write that down. I want to check you out,
Yeah,
Trina.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Thank you,
I
Trina
got you down.
Tunes.
Yeah.
She does her own original music and she's also a music therapist.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Cool. I'll check you out, Trina. Um, yeah. So, goodness. This is a little redundant, so I'm skipping a couple questions. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's all good.
outside of this stream, I've noticed you collaborate with other musicians on open mic nights. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, every well, okay. Every Tuesday night, she says, knowing she has not done this for about a month, I have a open mic on Twitch where anyone can come on and sing their original songs and I have a special guest on to talk about songwriting and stuff. Honestly, I stopped doing it because I got to get my tech stuff figured out. I think the laptop, the MacBook Air, is probably not the best system. As we can see in this stream, it's like if I just have too many things happening at once, the computer starts to crash. And the most recent one I did, it was really struggling. I just felt like
Mm,
I don't want to I feel bad inviting my friends on and then my computer can't handle it. But it's super fun. I love it. It makes me feel inspired to want to host a open mic in person someday. It's so great to get to hear people's original songs, you know?
yeah, yeah, and getting to know people that are also into music. I don't know. It's just creates a little bit of a community there, and I think it's cool that you do that.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you start doing that? And I don't know, like outside of the PC stuff, do you know like possibly when you could catch when I could catch the next one? Because I'd love to catch the next one and see.
Yeah, of course. I started last year. I was going to do a project called Write an Album in a Month, WAME, and I was inviting people on to sing their new original songs. But I had a family life event that kind of derailed
Mm,
that project and sort of made me feel like I wanted to evaluate okay, am I doing what I want to be doing in many ways? And took some time away to do some personal healing and
mm,
reflecting, and started writing this new album, this new beautiful album. And then I came back to it in February of this year, and I
mm.
will do it again eventually. Maybe I'll do it next Tuesday. Probably not, but maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope wishing your PC luck, wishing your laptop luck. And then if not, if it's time for a new
Thank you so much.
PC,
I
I hope you
appreciate
find
that. It
everything.
needs it.
Hope you find what you're looking for if you're needing that upgrade, because that's starting to sound like it,
Thank
unfortunately.
you.
Oh, oh my goodness. But yeah, I do want to transition into a little bit more about your music because you were talking about your album and you're working on it. And when we
Mhm.
were talking a little bit earlier, you said you wanted to play some songs for us.
Yes, I have so many songs to play.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I usually, when I'm on somebody else's show, I like to start with the hit. So we'll start
Yeah.
with Crush.
Okay.
Whee! Um,
Yeah. Just whenever you're ready,
so
I will switch over so that it's just you.
great. I'm gonna change my mic over here so we can get a little bit of this. Tessa, hear me up. Throw up a throne with PC parts, and we can help. I have a PC. I prefer to stream on the laptop. Laptop streamers on Twitch saying they plan to get a PC for forever. It's a whole own category. You guys, I literally own a PC. I like because what I like about the laptop is that we can move around the house. We can go into the kitchen. We can be in this room. It's just it's nice, guys. Okay. Okay. Anyway, here is my hit song, Crush. Um, I'm like, how does this song go? I don't know. Okay, I remember. Here we go. I can't focus on what needs to get done. I'm on notice, hoping that you don't run. You think I'm tepid, but I'm misdiagnosed. Cause I'm a stalker, I've seen all of your posts. And I'm just trying to play cool now. But that's not what I wanna do now. And I'm not trying to be with you now, you now. You make it difficult to not overthink. Sorry, let me adjust this mic a little bit. Okay. You make it difficult to not overthink. And when I'm with you, I turn all shades of pink. I wanna touch you, but don't wanna be weird. It's such a rush, I'm thinking, wish you were here. And I'm just trying to play cool now. But that's not what I wanna do now. And I'm not trying to be with you now, you now. But I could be your crush, like throw you for a rush, like hoping you text me so I could tell you I've been thinking about your touch, like touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. Got a fascination with your presentation, making me feel like you're on my island, you're my permanent vacation. Touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. I fill my calendar with stuff I can do. Maybe if I'm busy, it could keep me from you. And I'm pretending you ain't been on my mind, but I took an interest in the things that you like. And I'm just trying to play it cool now. But that's not what I wanna do now. And I'm not trying to be with you now, you now. But I could be your crush, like throw you for a rush, like hoping you text me so I could tell you I've been thinking about your touch, like touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. Got a fascination with your presentation, making me feel like you're on my island, you're my permanent vacation. Touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. And yeah, it's true that I'm a little bit intense, right? But can you blame me when you keep me on the fence like? And I've been waiting, hoping that you'd wanna text like. It's what I was born to do. And yeah, it's true that I'm a little bit intense, right? But can you blame me when you keep me on the fence like? And I've been waiting, hoping that you'd wanna text like. Ah. And I'm just trying to play it cool now. But that's not what I wanna do now. And I'm not trying to be with you now, you now. But I could be your crush, like throw you for a rush, like hoping you text me so I could tell you I've been thinking about your touch, like touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. I got a fascination with your presentation, making me feel like you're on my island, you're my permanent vacation. Touch, 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 touch. I could be your crush, 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 crush. Thank you so much. Thank you, Yog Moth Sub and Eschetan. Eschetan. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'm on right now with Glass Factory. We're doing an interview. I'm just playing some songs. That's my hit. That's my hit crush. That's crazy that that song has 200 million streams. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really cool to be able to
Yeah.
hear the
I'm like, what?
Yeah. I think it's cool to hear this version too cuz it's very different. I like it.
Totally, yeah. The open tuning is nice. Somebody mentioned
Mhm.
that the Cyan Music said love the open tuning version, and to which I say thank you so much. I'm also like, I'm like, I have to look at my Spotify now because I'm like, that can't be 200 million on Spotify. That must be across all platforms. Um,
We could check.
I have no internet because I'm plugged into
Oh,
the
that's okay.
Ethernet. Está bien, está bien.
That's life. 159 right now. That's cool. That's amazing.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. That many people.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so
Yeah.
you started off with a hit. What do you have next for us?
What do I want to play next? Okay, I know which one I feel like playing. Where is this guitar? Here it is. Oh shit. Uh, no, where is a capo for this guitar? Sorry, I'm like so chaotic here.
Oh, no worries.
Hmm. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just gonna use this one, even though it's not really ideal for this guitar. Um.
No
All
worries.
right, here's a song from my new project, which is not out yet. The song isn't out yet. Um. I hate going back to school, but I love the autumn leaves. And I love it when I'm brave enough to ask for what I need. I love new beginnings, my vision being clear. I love it that Savannah's been my friend for 20 years. There will be joy, joy, joy. I believe there will be joy. Now the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it will come to pass. Every breath that I am taking is one breath closer to what's next. Here I am, I'm in this moment, with my feet squared on the ground. I believe that it's a blessing. I believe it's all around. There will be joy, joy, joy. I believe as the tree knows how to blossom, so the darkness turns to dawn. It takes rain to make a rainbow. Here I am, I'm holding on. I will grow this light inside me. I will feel okay again. And if it is not okay yet, well then this is not the end. There will be joy, joy, joy. I believe there will be joy. Give yourself some grace. I hear my voice say to myself, no one does it perfect. It's okay to ask for help. It's a practice that's a promise. It's a journey I can see. And I'm opening myself up to the possibility there will be joy.
Yeah, that was awesome. I like that.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for the follow, Keo.
Me
Keom?
too.
Keomniverse. Yeah, I really like how so
Kiamniverse.
yeah, thank you for the follow. I really, really enjoyed how there was kind of like a transition from Crush to your new era. There's like a huge difference between I don't know, it's just like generally more intimate. I feel like this kind of stuff is made to be played on like the acoustic guitar, cross your legs and sit down on the stage kind of vibe. Very cozy,
Totally.
very cool, very calming. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I it looks like I'm dropping some
Mm-hmm.
frames.
Yes.
So
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
And Bad Ideas was all about go ahead.
yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say. It looks like I'm dropping some frames on YouTube. So YouTube, if you want to come over to Twitch, we're gonna hang out at Twitch. Hopefully things will improve right there. So bye YouTube. All right.
Bye.
All right. Sorry, you were saying?
Um I was just gonna say, Bad Ideas is about getting sober. And
Mm,
this song is, about the I don't know, spiritual growth, I guess.
mm, yeah. Yeah, I liked the there will be there's always rain and making a rainbow or something like that. That was really cool, really powerful.
Yeah, you can't have a rainbow without rain.
Yeah, you can't have a rainbow without rain. I agree with that. It's a I haven't heard that one too often, if at all. I think I've heard like more. I'm thinking of the Florence and the Machine song. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I loved that. Loved that energy. Loved that song.
Thanks so much. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Do you have one more for us?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
Which one do I want to do? Okay, I know. Oy, oy. Okay. All right. Listen, it's not that I need to be right. It's that part of me feels that it is a moral failing if I am ever wrong. Um, this makes me annoying, both to deal with and to be myself. Because, it can be difficult for me to work with a teacher because to work with a teacher, you have to be vulnerable enough to let someone see you not knowing the answer, not knowing what's right, not knowing what's best. It's a really, for me, it feels like a very vulnerable place to be in. I know not everyone feels that way, but I sure do. Anyway, I've decided recently, okay, no more of this. I am going to um, work through this issue that I have because I do want growth. So I was working with a meditation teacher, and she was suggesting to me different ways I could try, like, connecting to meditation. And I was like, no, no, that's not going to work for me. No, that doesn't work. That's not right. That's not right. And she goes, you think you know everything? And I go, I don't think I know everything. I just do know some things. And she goes, well, I don't know anything. And I go, okay, well, but you do know some things. And she goes, no, I don't know anything. And I go, okay, but you do know some things. Literally, I am paying you to learn the things you know. And she's like, okay, listen, it's a spiritual concept. Walk with me. She's like, when I tell myself that I don't know, then I am always open to learning something new. I don't have an identity in needing to be the one who knows. I'm willing to learn. I'm more flexible. I'm more flowing. I'm more gentle. And it got me thinking about how maybe I might use having an answer as armor. You know, it's too vulnerable to feel like I don't know. So perhaps I use being smart, use knowledge as feeling like I have some semblance of control. And maybe if knowledge is power, maybe being willing to say I don't know anything is freedom. Um, anyway, after I wrote this song, I had the thought that when I was at my darkest in my personal life, in my journey, I knew, quote unquote, that things do not get better. And what can I say besides, I love being wrong? Sorry, let me let out a little burp. I'm still thinking. Okay, uno más. I'm still taking my first steps. I'm still learning to crawl. No such thing as lost progress. I forgive when I fall. Used to think having answers gave me power and might. But there's freedom in learning. You won't always be right. If knowledge is power, then I'm choosing freedom. I don't know a thing, but I trust I'm believing. And it's not a test, it's my first time living. I won't do it perfectly, I'm just beginning. Wouldn't it be so boring if I knew it all? If I'm all done with learning, my world would be so small. I used to be cynical, so stubborn, headstrong. Thought I had all the answers. God, I love being wrong. If knowledge is power, then I'm choosing freedom. I don't know a thing, but I trust I'm believing. And it's not a test, it's my first time living. I won't do it perfectly, I'm just beginning. And I'm not a robot, I'm flesh, I am living. I open my heart to the parts I'm forgiving. I don't know a thing, the one thing's for certain, love is the medicine to cure what is hurt. Oh, 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 oh. I'm learning to open, I'm letting it go. The need to be right, the need to control. I loosen my grip, the story unfolds. I'm letting love in, learning to grow. There's still so much I don't know. If knowledge is power, then I'm choosing freedom. I don't know a thing, but I trust I'm believing. And it's not a test, it's my first time living. I won't do it perfectly, I'm just beginning. My life's a temple, and each day I'm building. I put in the windows, I'm folding the linens. I don't know a thing, but one thing's for certain, love is the medicine to cure what is hurting. Love is the medicine to cure what is hurting. Love is the medicine to cure.
I liked that one too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all of them are
Oh
so
God.
pretty. I love your new stuff so far.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too. It's my favorite stuff so far. We'll see. We'll see if
amazing.
it's, um successful.
Well, successful or not, I think you're onto something. I think that like I don't know, whenever somebody goes through like a spiritual or self-growth journey and it like I don't know, you're able to like, showcase that so far in your music and I think that that is really special and unique and I think that there is a success in that because I think you can't fake that. A B it's hard to do, I think, because it takes a vulnerability and it takes
Yeah.
choices, you know? So I applaud you for that.
Thank you, literally, Helena. Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate hearing that reflection.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that to me, I'm like seeing the perspective of like, yes, how beautiful it is that have done a lot of self-work, but also done, a lot of work learning to write songs, and it's all come together in this one moment. I could not have written this record at any other time in my life. Well, I mean, maybe I could write it 10 years from now. I don't know, but I couldn't have written it before now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's really, really cool whenever a musician does go a little bit deeper into like who they are, does the inner work, and I think it brings out some of their best work yet. And I think maybe personally, I think you're just getting started because, you know, I think you got a lot coming.
Stop.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much. That's so
Yeah. Of
sweet.
course. Yeah. I don't know. That just kind of goes into like a commentary or a couple of notes that I had about your music in general and like just how, I mean, I didn't really think about it and make the connection really until I was hearing you perform, but there was definitely a shift from your older eras and this era, that's for sure. But I think ultimately there's like that reflection of authenticity. And I think that's not just in your music. I think it's also on your socials, how you present yourself on Twitch, so on, so on. And I think that it's really special and unique. And yeah, I don't know. We were talking about super fans and connecting with super fans, but I don't know. I feel like that authenticity is what people are looking for, and you
Mm.
never know. You never know. More people might like that than you think. So
Yeah, you never know.
yeah.
I mean, okay, let me tell you something. It is my favorite music that I've ever written. So to me, I'm like, oh, this is obviously gonna be so successful. But it's just like I understand why Crush is my hit. It's
Yeah.
all of this stuff is like, okay, everybody, are you ready to open your heart, feel love, and cry? Not everyone is open to doing that all the time, whereas
Mhm.
we're more open in general to sing about our crushes. So
Yeah.
but here's hoping because it's pretty different than what I've
Yeah.
done before. But also, Helena, I feel it is aligned with who I've been all along.
Mhm.
So I don't know, whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm
I
just doing my
agree.
best out here.
Yeah. And that's also kind of what I was going at because it's like I know we just met, but I could tell, you know? I could tell that you're feeling more
Mm,
yourself and I could tell that
mm.
that I mean like whether or not I don't know. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but I could tell, you know? And I think that that's really special and
Yeah,
that's really
thanks.
important because like I said, you can't fake that authenticity. And if you're going to be writing intimate songs and crying and all that, like you can't fake that. So,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people are going to connect with that. The right people are going to connect with that personally, you know? So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the right people who want to hear it.
Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. But yeah. So, do you want to talk a little bit more on why you chose to go this direction in general, other than just like I don't know, maybe it coincided with your self care and self love journey, but do you want to talk a little bit about that and what
Yeah.
brought you to that decision and those decisions? Because it's always more than one decision, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's that's a great question. I mean, the first thing when I hear you say that is I want to be like, "Oh, it wasn't even a choice. It just
Hmm.
fell out of me." Like it was like I can't
Yeah.
stop these songs from coming out of me. And I can, maybe I was within my you know, team there's maybe some uncertainty about this new direction because it is not what I have been most successful at so far, but I just feel like, you know, write a pop song. I don't know. That's just like not what is authentic to who I am at this moment.
Right.
At this moment, this is what is very authentically coming from me and like coming quick and coming fast and coming easy. And certainly I was like, okay, I'm open to the feedback. Like I'll try, I'll see if I can like write something that feels sounds more like what I used to do, but still integrating this. And it's just like just didn't write anything good. I'm like
Hmm.
for these songs, they're just so to me, they're just so good. They're so good.
Yeah.
And not that not at all, this is not that I don't feel a pop song can be good. I love pop music. And that is like one fear I kind of have about this is that I don't want people to like look on the arc of my career and think, oh, now Tessa is authentic and she didn't used to be. Like I think people look at like the bad bitch stuff and
Hmm.
or maybe if I were to judge what people think based off of the YouTube comments, I would say that people looked at Bad Bitch and they're like, "Oh, her label made her do this." I'm like, "Bitch, no one fucking made me do that." You think that I didn't fucking write this song? I wrote it because I'm a bad bitch. Um, and but I think part of that is this like looking people see an acoustic guitar and they think that is authentic. And if
Mhm.
there are 808s under it, and if you're using language like fuck, shit, and bad bitch, it's not, authentic. And I'm like, no, dog. I'm like, I have been authentic to who I am all along. And let me tell you,
Yeah.
3 years ago when I was writing Bad Bitch, that was authentic to where I was in my path. Now, what's authentic is holding the acoustic guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's time and space for all of it. But I'm
Mhm.
glad to be doing this thing now. I'm very into this at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean even with Crush and Bad Bitch and like all your previous stuff, it still was like you said authentic because there was that self-empowerment in there, but I feel also like a person changes, an artist changes, and it's really cool to see you do that and make that challenge and make that leap. And I do want to make sure that you know like
Thanks.
that's not easy to do, especially if you're like you have become popular off of one song, you know? You don't want to be known
Yeah.
as that like for that one song. You want to try more things and you want to be able to grow and I don't know. It's like it's really cool whenever I see an artist do that and then they're like, "No, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do and what feels authentic to me." And that's really all I wanted to say by that because like that's really
Thank you
cool
so
and it's
much. I
really cool that you're
appreciate that.
doing that. So, I don't know, and I
I
think your work is
appreciate
going to
that
be
so
like,
much, Elena.
yeah, of course. I think that
Yeah.
no matter what, I think that that's really all that matters truly, deeply, is that like you're making stuff that you feel represents you. And especially like, I don't know, it's kind
Yes.
of like you're going to grow, you're going to change. And if the music changes with you, I think that that's really cool too, you know?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry if I seem any nervousness at all around it. It is not directed at you. It is just directed at the reality that I
Yeah.
am like, uh yes, my most popular songs are songs with 808s in them. Like that's just the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for it. So but also and like they're just I can't this is what is authentically me at the time. What is also true is that like following my heart has for me in my experience always led me down the right path. And
Mm-hmm.
I did follow my heart with Crush. I did follow my heart with Yes Mom. I did follow my heart with um uh Smoke Signals with Robin. And I'm following my heart now. So even though it is something different, I do believe that it will work out for me. And if you're thinking, of course it will work out for me, I'm like, well, I mean financially, I hope this
Yeah.
works
Yeah.
out
I
for me
know
because
exactly
it
what
is
you
my
mean.
career.
Yeah.
I
I know what you mean.
we'll see. Geez.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and then I mean, financially, finances are always hard, and music industry is really
yeah.
unpredictable. So I could understand that, and that's definitely a real, a very real reality and statement to make. Yeah, all I can do
Yeah.
in response to that is just let you know how I feel as well, you know. And I'm sure I'm
Thank
not the
you.
only one
Yeah.
that feels this way, especially in this chat. So, yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Can I play you another song?
Yes, yeah, of course. You are more than welcome to.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Which guitar do I need for this one? This guitar. Oh, yeah, yeah. I have this image in my head that I'm on. I want to try this again. Okay. Sometimes the sound of my own voice surprises me. Here we go. I have this image in my head I'm on a train going somewhere I don't want to go. To my left is the open air, inviting me to jump out on the hill. That'd be insane. It's so much easier to be here on this train going somewhere that I don't want to go. And besides, what if I get off and find I like the new place even less? Knowing this is not enough is enough. Knowing this is not enough is enough. I don't like the way it feels being here with you. I can never tell what's real and what is true, but somewhere inside my body I'm saying I don't want this anymore. And once I've heard it, then I've heard it. And you can't stop me now. I will honor and protect her. I will not allow myself to squander one more day accepting less than she deserves. Knowing this is not enough is enough. Knowing this is not enough is enough. My friend, she says, what's strange is nothing changes if nothing changes. Oh, 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 oh. Give yourself the grace to start again. If it hurts you, put it down. If it don't serve you, look around. You're doing great, my babe. I swear you're gonna make it. You never can know what could come. It's not done until it's done. You're doing great, my babe. I swear you're gonna make it. I can do hard things, parallel parking, like it all. It just takes practicing. I can walk a new path. I can get myself back. I can learn to be a better friend. Give myself the grace to try again.
That's awesome. I love that one too.
Thanks.
Yeah, you want to tell me what that one was about?
I mean, it's about a lot of things.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. Years ago, friends, I was in a relationship
Mm.
that I was not happy in and wanting to make a change um, with. But I was like, but what if I regret it? What if the next thing, what if being alone actually isn't better than this? And
Mm.
my friend says to me, we can never know if the next thing is going to be better or worse.
Mm.
Um, but you do know that this is not enough. And knowing that is enough of a reason to walk a new path.
Mm.
It doesn't even necessarily mean like, break up with your partner or quit your job, but it does mean like, okay, we know that what we've been doing isn't working. So what is within our control? What can I do that will change? Nothing changes if nothing changes. If I don't make a change, it's not going to change.
Mm.
So that was where that first that concept first came to me. And I remember really vividly at that time having this feeling that I was on a train going to a destination that I did not want to go to. But if I wanted to, in the song, I say, like, to my left is the open door, inviting me to jump out on the hill, which I feel when I sing the song, and it feels quite like bright and beautiful, like, but you do have to jump. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But in my head at the time, it's like dark, it's night, it's a steep hill, and it's full of bushes that might have thorns. And I'm like, am I literally going to jump out of a moving train right now into the darkness? Like, oh my God. Like, and then I'm like, and the train at least is moving, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be standing still in the middle of a field.
Right.
I'm like, is that better? I don't know. But so that's where that song started all these years ago. And then there's, just something within my life, that is personal, that I am, having awareness that I'm like, okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. And it's, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One song can apply to many things.
Yeah. I think that it's really cool whenever a musician is able to do that too, because that's some skill that takes a lot of practice, and yeah, it's not something
Thanks
you
so
can
much,
pick up really
Helena.
quickly, so I appreciate that
Yeah.
effort and that talent, and that hard work that it took to get you where you are now, to yeah, make those
Thanks.
analogies. It's really cool. Sounds all good, really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We can talk a little bit about more about that story as well. And I mean, like, I feel like what's really cool about songs like that is you could relate easily to your own personal situations too, with those things.
Hmm.
And I think that that's where you can
Yeah.
reach out to those bigger audiences, because it goes right to like people going, oh, this reminds me of this and this and this. Maybe I should do this and this and that, to process through
Yeah,
it. And I think
totally.
that that song is definitely one of those things.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been really touched by the response to that song. I mean, you guys, if everybody's watching this, my fans who are in the stream already know this. None of these songs are out yet, so. But I've been really touched by the response to that one specifically. When I first
Mm,
wrote that, I was like, this is like a B side. I don't know if I'm going to put this song out. But this got had a big response, and like
mm,
people saying like, wow, this so specifically relates to my life about this, one specific thing, which is, not the thing I'm thinking about as I write it,
right.
but um yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I'm really, really moved by the response to these songs. And so
Yeah.
so there, everybody. I'm very grateful in my life right now. I feel
Mm,
so grateful. I do.
mm. That's a great mental headspace to be in as well. I mean, because there's like, I don't know. I feel like I just summed it up. I could sum it up really poorly, but like being able to be in a place where you're able to be at rest and at peace and feel all the love and be I feel like grateful is like, in the situation that I'm thinking of, is not quite the right word, but you kind of get what I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
There's some like,
okay, so
go ahead.
I I'll just speak within my life,
Yeah.
within my personal story. I'm not saying anyone else needs to feel this way. I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you my personal
Yeah.
story. There's no judgment in this. Um, there have been some things in my life that I'm like, I wish that had been different. That was very painful, or that was
Mm,
very hard, or I'm like still working through things because of this thing that happened. Um, like, within relationships or within friends or whatever. And like for me, like with this one specific thing I'm thinking, you know, maybe for me again, for me, this happened, like this fracturing in this one relationship I'm thinking of, maybe
mm,
that happened so that I could experience the beauty of coming back together again, and the
mm,
vulnerability required to like have a conversation about it. Maybe because it's great if everything's great all along, but maybe there is so much beauty to experience something coming together.
mm.
And I don't even remember why I said that, so I hope that it makes sense with whatever prompted me to say it.
No, that totally made sense. And I read something kind of similar to that recently, and I'm trying to think of where I read it.
Mhm.
But it kind of goes back into our previous part of the conversation where we were talking about like maybe that door that you wanted to be open wasn't really open in the first place, and there's something better to
Mhm.
come, you know? And it took like
Yeah, totally.
it took a breaking down of sorts and a rebuilding of sorts. So cool.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to tell you I'm reading this book, but to be honest, what I mean is I've read the first chapter and put it down, haven't picked it up yet. It's called Psychedelics and the Soul. It's by Simon Gugler, and
Mm.
it's all about myth making, about how, well, okay, I have no idea what it's about. I read one chapter so far. What I'm taking from it so far is that, we get to decide what the meaning is in our life,
Mm.
and if that and if it can make you feel empowered to put your own meaning to things, then great, yes, let's
Yeah.
feel empowered as, a human race. um so I don't know, I'm sort of thinking about that within my own life, myth making my own experience, because I think, yeah, like I said, my former self being quite a pessimist, my former self is also like, nothing matters, there is no meaning, like, even that is like sad people trying to make sense of something that is senseless. And now I just like, I've so pendulumed the other direction, but I also, within that, I don't do I even believe what I believe is an objective truth? Like, I don't know. Like I say in my song, I can't know. I
Yeah.
can't know. So I'm not telling you what I believe is right. I'm just telling you what I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we can have that collective experience of, discussing how we feel about those things. And I think in that we can find connection, even if we don't necessarily feel the same way, right? Isn't that the hope?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
What do you believe? Do you believe in the soul?
what do you mean by that? Like that we have a soul? Or something else?
Uh,
Because I feel like that could go multiple different.
yeah. I guess I want to say, Do you believe that you have a soul? And
Hmm.
what do you think the soul is?
Hmm. So, yes, personally, I mean, I grew up in a religious background, and so I
Mm,
feel like there are some parts of that haven't really changed. There is still like that feeling, but I also feel like there's some creative aspect to it as well because like it goes into what you were saying about the being the antenna and feeling other things. I feel like
mm-hmm,
there's got to be something otherworldly about that, like a soul, you know?
mm,
So, and I feel like
mm-hmm,
the soul can be separate from our bodies in some ways. Um, Whether or not
mm-hmm,
there's life after death, whatever, I feel like that's kind of not the point. I feel like in this moment is like I don't know, there's something more to this world than just what we can see. That's just kind of how I feel.
mm-hmm,
And I don't know if that's necessarily just a creative experience or if it's a religious thing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think there's so many different ways that you can take that. And yeah, I hope that answered your
mm.
question. Okay.
Yeah, no, it did. That was a
Mm,
great answer. I loved it. Yeah,
cool.
I believe in the soul too.
Mm-hmm.
But like what is soul? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like I like this idea, the idea that soul energy can neither be created nor destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
and there is, some sort of energy to like life force. There's a difference between an alive person and a body that was formerly alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I would say soul is connected to that. um it's
Yeah.
like I believe in reincarnation. I don't believe in reincarnation in in the linear sense that, like, in my former life I was this thing. But again, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm like, other people do believe that. Maybe they're right.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have this sense of maybe like the energy that is soul is like, you know, manifesting this reality to experience life as this thing. I kind of like that as a concept.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying it's right. I'm, there really are no stakes for me in what I choose to believe or not, but I'm like, I like it as an idea. I think it's cool.
Yeah. I think that is a cool idea. And I mean, I think whether or not it's true is irrelevant. I think that there is
Yeah.
some truth to it because there's got to be like I don't know, like again, I don't know if it's necessarily a creative thing, but there's more to life than what we see, you know? There's just so much more.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
yeah.
Jestro, Robin IDK in the chat says, to me, the notion of being a soul that has a body makes more sense than a body that has a soul.
Mm,
Yeah. And I feel like there's a difference between soul and spirit too. So
mm.
I don't know.
That would make sense. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's an interesting point too, because the soul. What would you say is the difference between the soul and the spirit from your experience?
Mm, I feel soul is more universal. Like to me,
Mm,
soul is kind of mm, like okay, so like within okay, this is and sorry everyone has heard me talk about this a million times, but this is the thing I'm interested in right now. Um, like if you zoom in real close at my body, I will see a bunch of different cells that are separate things, you know, doing their own thing, going about their day, doing their jobs, eating, dying, whatever. I don't know what cells do. But if you zoom out enough, you'd say that's Tessa. You wouldn't say it's a bunch of separate things. um, I feel like there's something to do like that, like to do with soul and with zooming out far enough with like Earth, you know?
mm-hmm.
Uh, so like soul feels kind of more connected, whereas spirit, like my spirit, I feel is very uniquely Tessa, you know,
Okay.
and your spirit is very uniquely Helena. Um, I, but I don't know. I haven't thought that much about it, guys. I'm not like
I haven't either.
I don't
That's
know.
why I asked you because I was
It's
like, I
just
want to know what you
ideas.
think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it much
Yeah.
like that. I've just been thinking more, I guess it like I said in the creative sense where it's like I don't know, you can't necessarily see the wind blowing like the air itself, but you know it's making its
Yeah.
impact and you know it's moving the trees and the leaves and everything like that. You know, like there's more
Hmm.
intangibility in stuff like that. I feel like that was a very simple metaphor on a very complex topic, but hope that that summed up the point for you.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah.
Someone says what Tessa's describing sounds like Anima Mundi. I don't know what that is, but sounds cool. EX3C says, for me, it's crazy that the universe has been about for like 4 billion years and we're just here for 80. And
Yeah.
right now we're just kind of watching it and thinking about it kind of thing. Like what happened before, what will happen again. Um, Exogen says ADHD, ego death problems. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I was watching this video yesterday of a person who's making a log cabin from scratch over the course of a year. And he's using this one tool that you like spiral down to like make holes through wood.
Mm.
And he said, I bought this at a shop and they told me that it was, you know, literally 100 years old. He's like, I think it's crazy that somebody was using this tool 100 years ago to like make a log cabin. And now here it is in my YouTube video. And I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. That is really cool. Yeah. And it's cool
Yeah.
that things like that have lasted throughout the years and it's also kind of cool to think about what it's been through too, you know, to like get up
Mm.
to that point. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah. Was not thinking we would be talking about logging tools today, but that's also really cool how that came up. Yeah. I only have a couple more questions for you, but
Mhm,
I know you just released a few versions of My Body's My Buddy, and we were kind of talking a little bit about the self-love journey and then also, the
mhm.
experience of the soul Eddie. And I know that there is like something to unpack from that it has that's in that song, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Mhm.
Can you tell me a little bit about the meaning of the song to you, just so I can make sure I'm remembering correctly?
Yeah, I mean, my body's my buddy. What can I say besides I do just feel my body's my buddy? I don't believe I am my body. Um, I believe that my body is my vessel that
Mm,
I get to experience this life through, but it's also, I'm the steward to my body. So, it's my responsibility to take care of my body who takes care of me,
mm.
that lets me look through my eyes and see this world. And like, if we're going to talk about, okay, have you ever tried psychedelics?
No, I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay. It's all good. You don't need to
Yeah.
have tried psychedelics for this next question. It was just more like, I'll give you more context if you haven't.
Okay.
So, a common phenomenon, and also, sorry, context for this. I have done like a lot of healing work in my life recently with like psychedelic meditations,
Okay.
and there's a lot of great research around psychedelics for anxiety, for depression, for PTSD, like
Mhm.
and I always say that because if someone doesn't know anything about it, it sounds like I'm just immediately coming in with hippie stuff. But I'm like, well, okay, let's talk about the reality that like psychedelic plant medicines have existed in indigenous cultures for like literally longer than there has been recorded history,
Mm.
and also modern like Western science supports this. So there, the judgmental voice within inside of myself. Anyway, a common phenomenon with people who take psychedelics is they have an experience where they feel like um, uh, everything is one thing, like, and
Mm.
that everyone is one thing. Like, I would look at you, Helena, and I would say, "Oh my God, we're actually one." And like, there's a question of like, okay, well, what is if that's altered consciousness? What is like normal consciousness? Um, are uh, unusual, whatever. This idea of consciousness, and I'm like, people who are very into this might say the idea that we are separate is an illusion. Um, where was I even going with this? I was going to make an interesting point. Now I've kind of fallen off into this tangent. I'm always afraid of like seeming like I'm an insane person when I talk about these things. But in truth, Helena, I am an insane person, and I actually kind of delight in being one. So,
Mm.
um,
I don't mind being a little
okay,
insane as well. I just think I'm in, more in the beginning of that finding my insanity journey, so you can feel free to indulge
yeah.
me.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Um, okay, what was I gonna say about being separate and being one? The body. Okay, I don't even know. It's too bad because
Oh, it's okay.
whatever. My body's my body. What's it about? Yeah, I believe I'm the steward to my body. I have this experience with my body where I feel that my body is like, my friend. When I go through like difficult things, when I go through pain, it's easy to frame and this thing of myth making, we decide what it
Mhm.
means. One framing of experiencing pain via my body is that my body is punishing me. My body is doing something to me. That's one story that I can tell. Another story I can tell is that when I am experiencing pain, so too is my body. We are in this together. Nobody knows my experience, Tessa's experience, the way my body knows my experience. We are friends. We walk hand in hand through this life. And also, I believe that my body has wisdom. It is
Mm.
wise. It tells me things. It tells me things all the time, and I'm rarely ever listening. So one of my intentions this year is to be in my body more and listen when my body's telling me I need rest, I need to slow down, I need to that's often what my body's telling me. That specifically is often what my body's telling me that I am choosing to ignoring. Or sometimes my body's telling me, hey, I need more movement, I would actually
Mhm.
like to be exercised, and I'm
Yeah.
like, but the couch though.
The couch. The couch is great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate with that a little bit. Yeah, especially with like trying to listen to the body. Like only like I don't know how to say this without giving a bunch of context, but I'll try. But basically,
Hmm.
I had chronic pain for a really long time. I'm just starting to
Mm,
figure out what it's like to have a pain-free life, if that makes sense.
mm,
And like
yes.
listening to those littler signs instead of waiting for those bigger things to happen. So,
Mm,
yes, I can relate with that experience just a little bit and like listening to the body and like I don't know, feeling separate from your body, especially whenever you're in pain too, because it's like, yeah, there's like that we're both feeling pain an element, but there's also that separation because my mind wants to be doing something, anything else than laying down, right? So,
yes, yes.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but I can tell you that I do relate with that a little bit. And I think I'm not the only one, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like within the story, I'm like, I don't experience chronic pain. So I'm just like, please, no one feel like I'm like be best friends with your body, love your body, when it's like, okay, well, I'm literally in pain. I can't do the things I want to do. I'm
Right.
like, yes, you should definitely live your journey, be authentic to yourself. There is no shoulds here. I don't think you should do anything, you know? Um, it's just another idea that can help some people, but isn't helpful to everyone. So,
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying I'm right. I
But it goes
don't know. What does the
again.
chat think?
Yeah. Well, the chat thinks it does go into what we were talking about with was it again? We were talking a little bit about like it's all kind of similar. It's all this stuff is kind of got a little central theme to it, which yeah, I don't remember it. It
Hmm.
slipped my mind. But yeah.
Um, Keanu Reeves said, after I realized I want my body and I was my thoughts, I realized I want my thoughts and I attained nirvana. After I
Mm,
realized I want my body and I was my thoughts, I realized I want my thoughts and attained nirvana. You'll have to elaborate. Wasn't. Okay. After I realized I wasn't my body and I was my thoughts. Okay, Comniverse, this is really interesting. I'd love to hear more about this because I don't feel that I am my thoughts at all. I'm like,
mm,
okay, interesting. Tell me more. Taki says, listening to those little signs for chronic pain instead of when it gets its worse. I'm definitely still on that journey. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, EX3C also feels that you feel your brain. You are your brain. Okay, interesting. We have
Yeah.
different experiences of ourselves. I don't feel that I am my mind either.
Yeah, well, that could be
But
like
are we?
expressing the mental health aspect of that because I guess I could kind of relate with that in some ways, but it's more particularly to chronic pain and where my brain feels disconnected from my body, but it goes the other way around in the mental health side of
Hmm,
things. So
hmm,
whenever both are struggling, it's just chaos, you know? So
yeah,
maybe that's a little bit more along those lines. Like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Helena, I remembered what I was going to say on my
Okay.
tangent about
Say it, say it.
where I'm like, sometimes on psychedelics, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. Sometimes there's a phenomenon on psychedelics, people feel like we're all one, and they're like, oh my God, this is so great. I wish I could feel this way all the time. And then it's like kind of annoying to feel like separate again. But I'm like, and they're like, and the truth is that we're all one, which again, I'm not saying that is true. I'm not reflecting on any truth about it. I am just kind of feeling like, maybe it's actually kind of cool, like if that is quote unquote truth, that my body lets me experience the idea of being separate. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow, maybe that's kind of neat too. Like getting to try this on, and
Mhm.
my body's the vessel I get to experience that. If go okay, going all the way back to what is soul. If soul is all one thing, then my body is the like vessel I get to experience being separate, and that's like kind of its own adventure too,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. This is the shit I like to think about.
Yeah. It's interesting things to think about too.
Um, yeah.
I was something beyond my thoughts for a moment.
As such, yeah, yeah. I feel like a lump of unusual matter. You know what I really need to do? Does anyone in the chat have psoriasis? Because I do. And
Mm,
it was like just in one spot for like a year, and then in the past year it's just like exploded all over my hands. So I'm like, I think I might need to do one of those diets where you like take out everything and you gradually add it back in to see. I'm like, what is in the last year has caused this to flare up so bad? I don't know.
mm, yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about
Yeah, no.
things.
Yeah.
Just gonna start with that. I could talk a little bit about my health journey and all that if you want to, but I did that a little bit. Turns out I can't have
Mm.
gluten, so my skin improved a lot
We
afterward. Of course, other things too, but skin definitely did. So yeah, might be maybe the right thing, but also I'm not a doctor, so
No, yeah, no, totally.
yeah.
I take your anecdotal experience as your experience, not
Mhm.
as doctoral advice. Yeah, and I've been to the doctor.
Yeah.
Um, I have a cream now for it, but like the cream only treats the flare up. I'm like, how do I prevent it? Is what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping to find.
And that's the way to, I think that um we need to think about things a little bit more personally. I don't know, because like whenever you're just fighting off all the symptoms and not finding the root of the matter, then it's like, I don't know. I feel like there's something deeper that could be said of what I was saying just versus like, I don't know, something like psoriasis. But yeah, usually there's something that's not happy that's causing that flare up. So figuring out what that source
Yeah.
is could be helpful in more ways than one.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
You cutting out tomatoes? Kiamniverse. Take that back. I need you to take those words out of the chat and put them back in your mouth. How dare you say the idea of having to live without tomatoes? I can't do it. It's not worth it. I'll take the psoriasis.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Okay, I'd be willing to try it. I mean, it'd be nice. It would feel empowering at least to just like know what the issue is instead of it
yeah.
just being such a mystery, you know?
Yeah. Speaking from experience,
Yeah.
yes. When you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much better to like know what's going on than not. Especially if like, I don't know, if it's a little bit, I don't know how dramatic everything is, but like if you don't know what's going on, it's, I don't know, more anxiety ridden. You know, you're more prone to being anxious about like, oh my gosh, what's that one thing? But yeah, what's causing this? How do I stop it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's just I'm not empowered if I don't know
Yeah.
like what choices I need to be making. Okay, well, talking about this is like, okay, yeah, fine. I'll do it. Fine. All right. Well, maybe I'm gonna do it in May. I feel like I have too much going on this month. I cannot add another like high impact thing I need to think about.
What's your favorite way to have
I've lived with the
tomatoes?
psoriasis for 3 years now, guys. I can go. Raw. I fucking love
Love.
tomatoes.
What's your
Dude, I
favorite
eat
kind?
cherry tomatoes as a
Cherry tomatoes.
snack. I used to eat oh, my favorite is the yellow pear-shaped ones. Ooh,
Mm.
so delectable, such a treat.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said cherry tomatoes. What about them? Sorry.
Yeah.
You eat
Yeah,
tomatoes
the
like a
the
snack.
little do you know the ones that are
Yeah.
yeah, delicious,
They're really good.
fantastic. What about
Yeah.
you?
I like cherry tomatoes
Yeah.
and Roma. I love Roma tomatoes. I didn't really like think about how much I liked them until I had a little bit of time in Italy, and that was like pretty much all I ate was the Roma
Ooh.
tomatoes. So, yeah.
Ooh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had tomatoes with just some salt and some pepper?
Mhm.
My God, it's so good.
Add a little basil leaf, mozzarella, maybe some
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yep. Yeah. I might need to have that now. Yeah. So, I'm going to be having tomatoes today.
Yeah, delicious. Oh my God. You know what's crazy? When I moved to the East Coast for the first time, I was like, oh, I understand why people think they don't like tomatoes now. Because living on the West Coast, dude, I was having sun ripened tomatoes all the time.
Mm.
It was the only tomato I knew. And then when I moved to the East Coast, you cut open a tomato, it's like white on the inside. And I'm like, this is,
Yeah.
and it tastes like nothing. You know, I'm like, we cannot be having this.
Yeah. Yeah, cuz I don't know. We're both on the West Coast, near some very very fresh food with a lot of sun around us. There's a lot of benefits to that. I can tell you that I like food even more than I did when I lived where I previously did because there was nowhere near as
Mm,
much sun. Um, I didn't know
yeah.
strawberries could be so good. Like they're tiny where I'm
Dude,
from.
yeah.
They're tiny where I'm from.
And they're so sweet.
Mm-hmm. They're like candy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always like I may not like the heat where I'm at, but I like summers now just so I can try all the fruits and have all the fruits in season, fresh,
Yeah.
right off the stands.
Do you have blackberries where you're at? I love a blackberry right off the bush.
So not as good. Actually, those are the one things that where I am now, it can't get it as good as where I'm from. Blackberries in Washington State,
Gotcha.
they're literally
So
unbeatable.
good.
They're like they could be about, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but the size of your palm, you know, like they're huge, 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 and they have
Yeah.
so much flavor. So yeah, I haven't found anything like that where I'm at now, but yeah, I know what you mean by whenever you find a good blackberry, because oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbeatable.
Ooh-wee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I don't really have too many other questions for you, but what's the main message you want to share with listeners in your work, especially like with this upcoming album?
Um, if you're suffering, try a new way.
Mm,
You know, and you get good at what you practice. So if you have a lot of practice with negative self-talk, of course you're going to be really good at that.
yeah.
And it takes practice to learn something new. It takes practice to learn to be gentle, you know, but you get good at what you practice. So, you know, sometimes I'm like, let's just like try saying that we love ourselves. And people are like, oh, I can't say that because it's not true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you know, it's not a test, you know, you're not going to be struck down because you
Right.
said something that quote unquote isn't true, which my belief is that it actually is true. I do believe that, you know, underneath all this like fear and anxiety and mental anguish, there is like a deep well of love. That's my belief.
Mm,
So to me, I'm like, we just forget, you know, and we get out of touch with it. And I'm like, and whatever, even if it is a lie, it's just an exercise. We're just trying something new. We're trying a new way, and finding out like what it feels like to practice something different. Or like if that's too big to say I love myself, what about just like saying maybe I might love myself? You know, we're just trying something new. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
and even if you can't quite go there, I might add on to that. This is really cliche, but this is something that I really related with when I heard was you spend a lot of time in your mind. Make sure it's a nice place to live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that's a
like
good one.
even if you're not saying I love my body or I love myself, you can tell yourself you could quiet your mind whenever you could try to quiet your mind whenever things are a little bit harder. Try to make it a nicer space to live, make it a home, make it somewhere that you can be at rest and be at peace. And that's going to not necessarily be super easy, but it is possible, you know?
Yeah, I have a song about this. Can I end on that
Yeah.
song?
Yeah. That sounds great.
Shit, I wish I knew where my capo was because damn, trying to get the capo all the way up here is crazy. Okay, this song's about exactly that idea. You know, I'm a very messy person and I fucking hate cleaning up. I hate it so much. Don't make me do it. Uh But when I bother to like clean up my fucking room, I get to experience like the beauty in my space. Like the space actually is beautiful, but it does need tending, you know, and it needs to be cleaned up. And when I look at my room and I have this experience with my room, I believe the same is true about my mind, you know, my internal world. I think it's easy for people to be like, oh, it's like so dark in here. And I'm like, well, turn a light on. You know, I'm like, I do believe that it is beautiful on the inside too, but we have to take care of it, and it is work, it's labor, you know, but it's rewarding too. So here's a song about that. Clean up every. It's kind of a silly one. This is a silly one. Okay. Clean up every stone and surface. I make it beautiful with my hands. I unearth it. Little love for the things that I adore. Look how beautiful you can see it. When I put in the effort, I learn to reveal it. Beauty in my mind and in my room. When I let the old pass through, I make space to feel something beautiful and new. New. Look at how I make things with my hands. The hardest part of all of it is starting once again. Look at what becomes when I create. Look at how I grow when I have space. Clean up every stone and surface. I make it beautiful with my hands. Hi, Scoochie. Little bit of stop, be. I don't know. Look how beautiful you can see it. When I put in the effort, I learn to reveal it. Beauty in my mind and in my room. When I let the old pass through, I make space to feel something beautiful and new. New. This is perfect time to stop because I see my computer crashing. My camera
Oh
just like
no.
changed size, so it's getting smaller and smaller. I'm disappearing into the
Oh
distance.
no. You're disappearing into the void.
Anyway, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for the follows, guys. Before I do let you go though, do you have anybody we should raid? It's kind of a tradition that we do here.
Usually I let Trina pick, to be for
Okay.
real. Let me
Trina, pick
see.
who
Let
we're
me
gonna
see
raid.
if anyone I know is live right now.
Yeah, computer's like, look at me, I'm in control now.
Okay, Art Ingest.
Oh, cool. Artinjest? Is that correct?
Let me see. Artinjest.
Perfect. Cool. Oh, look at that. We're starting an ad break. Well, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes at least to wrap things up, but if you need to get going, no pressure, but I'm going to definitely raid in on them. We could do a little double raid. Do we have a raid message?
For me, no. I like honestly, I'm such an amateur at Twitch. I
Oh
have
yeah,
no
no
idea what I'm
problem.
doing.
It looks like sub raid. Okay, yeah, so Omniverse K Omniverse. You got that too. All right. Anybody in my chat here?
Okay, just Trina, what did you say was again? Art and chest. Great. All right, I'm starting the raid for my end. I'm gonna hop
Same
off. Thank
here.
you so much, Helena, for
Yeah, of
having me.
course. Super nice chatting with you.
This was great.
Yeah, I had a great time chatting with you. So looking forward to checking out your music whenever it's out. Keep me updated.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and everybody follow Glass Factory. Trina, will you give Glass Factory a shout out?
thank you.
Alrighty, I'm gonna head out.
All right. Hope you have a good
Later.
rest of your
Bye,
day.
everybody. Will do. Oops.
Oh,
Bye.
bye. All right, I'm gonna hang out for a couple minutes, guys. We're gonna wait for that ad break to end because we timed it super duper well. But here's our raid message. Yeah, it was really cool. It was really nice talking with Tessa. I had a good time. I hope you guys did too. Yeah, of course, Robin. Nice to meet you as well, Keo. Keo. Can I call you Keo or Keomniverse? Which one works for you if you're still in here? All right. 1 second. I'm gonna cancel the raid. Cancel. Give me a second. Yeah, nice to meet you, Taki. Super nice to meet all of you guys. It's nice to see new faces in here. As far as shop talk goes, whenever we aren't interviewing musicians, we are talking a little bit about music, and I also edit photos because I do concert photography. So I go to a lot of concerts, as I was talking to you guys about. So I talk a little bit about my process there. Yeah, and we have our next guest figured out for May, so it's gonna be a good time. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. We're gonna actually start our raid now because now the ad break's over. But yeah, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you.